Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Usually Fixing and Tinkering and an update on Project Inc. Now in the last episode we did a washer fix and a couple of other bits, but mainly fixing the washer pipe, and I'm pleased to say that we haven't had any leaks since. So we've done a nice repair there. There's been a couple of other repairs going along, but we're getting to a stage now where I've dealt with the initial Achilles heels, or the ones that I've identified as probably most likely to give me trouble imminently, put it that way. And we've dealt with all of them in the previous episodes, and now we're at a point where I feel we can proceed with bits and areas that I haven't touched on. Mainly, one of them is the rear suspension, and we'll come to that in a different episode because I've got to sort of take the arch liners off, and there's a lot of wire brushing, put it that way. But I have made a start. So you'll see in this picture here, I was very busy sorting the tow bar out because, well, initially I thought, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to try and refurbish that and keep that. But then I discovered actually something that I didn't like, which resulted in me absolutely yanking it off. It was 2 bolts either side into the rear chassis legs. I had to drop the exhaust a bit because it was the original one-piece exhaust. You can't really detach it completely. I was going to detach the back box and realised, it's the one piece from the factory, which is quite rare these days. It is. It's in okay condition, the exhaust, but I can hear some maraca shaking going on, like the baffles have gone. But I've managed to squeeze the tow bar out, and you can see the rusty state it was in. It was an absolute eyesore, and there was no doubt in my mind it was coming off. Namely for the fact it's an aftermarket one. It's not a factory one. I think most people could have probably noticed by then. But it was a lot of weight. It felt like I was getting rid of about 20 kilograms of weight. No kidding. That's a lot of bags of sugar, that is. So I'm pleased to have released the car some possibly extra horses, extra performance, I should say, through weight reduction, don't you know? But the reason that I decided to get rid of the tow bar wasn't because I discovered it was absolutely unsightly and beyond painting, etc. and refurbishment. It was because of this. Yeah, so somebody who had this tow bar fitted sent it to probably a backstreet garage who enjoyed putting Scotch locks everywhere. And I think most of you will remember I had the car initially came to me with an issue, a sort of electrical earth issue, where you would start the car from cold, or turn the ignition on from cold, put the headlights on, and all the lights are flickering at the back. And the gear lever keeps clicking and clicking. Oh, what is this? There was also a sound coming from the engine bay, like something was clicking, like a relay was clicking in the engine bay. I thought, this is an earth problem, this is. I've got to find out what this is. And it always related to the back end of the car, the lights. And I'm thinking, right, so it only works when the lights are on, including the side lights. So it's something to do with that circuit. As some people would have pointed out, the headlight switch, but the headlights work perfectly fine after a while. The flickering stops after about a minute. And I realised, let's just look at the wiring. And I was going round cleaning some of the earth points inside the car, and there's an earth point at the back of the car down by the passenger side rear light. And then I noticed, hold on, all this wiring here by the first aid cubby, it's all been chewed into with Scotch locks. That's what's caused the problem. Scotch locks are awful, awful things. Honestly, they cause almighty problems. And I got rid of the whole lot of them. I decided there and then that tow bar was going to be thrown in the bin for the electrical maladies alone. So I managed to tape up the wiring, inspect it all, and put it back the way it was originally, cleaned up the rear light clusters, and the problem was virtually still there. There was an improvement in a couple of aspects of the response to putting the lights on. So the flickering wasn't as quick. So it wasn't happening as frequently. So I'm thinking, so the problem is still there. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we've sorted one problem out. And then I discovered, hold on, the side light, it only works with the side light bulbs on. Let's disconnect the clusters one at a time and see if it still happens. And lo and behold, when the right-hand driver's side rear cluster was disconnected from the electrics, no symptoms, no flickering. Bingo. Now we've limited it down. And then I managed to work out with a bit of with a wiring diagram that it was a bulb. The top side light stop lamp double filament bulb, somebody put it in the wrong way round. You can do that sometimes. You can put them in the wrong way round with the two prongs. Honestly, it wasn't making contact. Took it out, put it the right way in, and it stopped. There's no flickering. All that because of a dodgy bulb. Well, a bulb that wasn't installed properly. Anyway, that's my update there. Tow bar gone, electrical earth problems sorted. I also think the clocks, I did an experiment. I used 50 Shades Halford's battery, which I'm afraid is now dead because it's 7 years old now. In the last year, it's been playing up, and it's completely dead now. But I used it as a tester battery. And the other symptom I was getting was, well, all the cluster needles would shake for a few seconds on starting, turning on the ignition, along with the flickering lights, which is now gone. And the gear lever clicking, that's also gone because of the back bulb. But the speedo issue was a different issue. So I thought, I would tell you what, let's have a look at, I'll just have a look at a couple of things before, but I'll check the battery because I know battery issues, if it's an incorrect battery or poor battery, it will cause a symptom. And I can tell you what, this symptom with the cluster needles only happens when that Lion battery is connected. When the Halfords one was connected, perfectly fine. Even though the Halfords battery is a pretty dead battery. It should have caused issues, but it didn't. In fact, it had enough juice just about to start the car. Would you believe it? And that was a battery reading 12 volts exactly. That's quite low. That's almost flat. That is virtually flat. But so I'm going to get a new battery in charge of both Mr. Ink and 50 Shades. That's the conclusion on that one. But for now, the Lion battery is back on the car temporarily until I can source a battery. Anyway, what I have been doing in the meantime though, is before we even touch the rear suspension, I have been sorting the interior and stripping everything out. Goodness me. Yeah, I have been busy. In fact, I'll just show you this. Just some unique differences. The only thing that is really different about the seats and a gear is obviously electric height adjustment. This switch is an electric window switch. That's the same switch that they used to put on late Mark III Fiestas. They used to put that on the door cards for your electric windows. What the heck? So reusing switches, and that just goes through this wire to this electric motor. I can't actually see. I'd like to see where that was made, but yeah, you got this electric motor instead of a windy handle, which most of us are used to. You got this electric motor that just pushes on this shaft to raise this bar up and down. It's quite clever, but that's the only addition. That's the only real difference. Obviously, with these seats, we've got curtain airbags, so we've got a big airbag that just sits in the side here. These are all going to be washed down. And this seat, obviously being the double jointed seat, I mean, this is just so clever down here with this hinge. I've got to be so careful. I've just give it all a bit of a clean. I've got to give the cable a bit of a lubrication. But yeah, right, let's go outside and have a look at the interior of Mr. Ink. I must ask you to take your shoes off before we get into Mr. Ink. Oh, got some overspray going on. The smell in here. I have been cleaning carpets and look at my van. It really, you know what? The word station wagon really does suit this car. It is a wagon of a vehicle, particularly now I've cleaned all the inside, and we used auto glim vinyl and rubber cleaner on all the surfaces. This console has been out. I can report a few things. We have no wiring for the heated seats. There are no plugs for heated seats. How interesting that that does not exist on this model. Excuse me. See how cold it is. Hello, Ruby. Just so you know that Ruby still exists. She's still there. But I haven't done anything to do with the door cards yet. See, you can see I've used the vinyl and rubber moisturiser there, but not there. There is a massive difference in the sheen levels. It's a fantastic product, and I've got the trade version, which is a lot of fluid for your money. But yeah, we've got the normal plugs through here. I've got to use the car tomorrow, so I've got to get on with the driver's seat and stick that back in and have the airbag light flashing to death. What else have we got to report? There's nothing really that tell you what, there was a blooming mark on the steering wheel I hated. Just had to rub that off a little bit. Someone's got a bit of paint on this glove compartment as well, but overall pretty good. I can still feel that this needs time to dry, this does. But yeah, this just needs a bit more time to dry out, I think this does. I can feel the moisture actually in there. It will dry out eventually. But I did put my dehumidifier to get the worst out. Just clean the pedals down there, and it's lovely. Now, this is the bit where you're going to find interesting. We've got another sun visor that is on its way. I managed to replace. Thanks, Nick, because the foam always breaks on them, and that's what's happened to the driver's one. The foam piece on the tube breaks. Unfortunately, there's no way of repairing them. That is a Mark 1 problem. I think drivers, sun visors especially, are going to be sought after in the future. Luckily, 50 Shades doesn't have that problem. I have scrubbed this headlining clean because there was all sorts of dirty marks on it. As you can see, you've now got a contour. In fact, it almost goes up a little bit. It goes up and then it comes back down a little bit. You can actually see that now with the light. It's an interesting contour through the for the headlining. These clips are quite hard to get. Believe you me, don't break those clips. I wouldn't take the headlining off this car, put it that way, because I mean these clips here, once you break them, that's it. They never look the same. It's a tricky one, that. But I have cleaned all the seat belts, and instead of lazy seat belts, just put silicone on the belts. There we go, straight away, back in. It's still a bit on the lazy side, that is. This is a bit more, but clean the belts, guys. These belts were disgusting. The stuff I was getting off these belts, and now it's super clean and slippery, and that's why your belts are so slow, because they're dirty. Just make them clean and slippy. I've done the same with the rears, but this is the bit you want to see. Oh, there's a bit of water there. I don't know where that's come from. Oh, that would have been the dehumidifier. Yeah, I think it would have leaked a bit. But here we go. Now, this is your sort of butt section area. Well, this is where your fuel tank sits. So, as I say, when you're sitting here as the driver, your tank's right next to you, with the rear passengers. Yes. So this is the sort of tank section that they've built in, and they've put a lot of sort of this undercoating sealing on, just to seal different parts. Quite interesting. You've got the loom for the fuel pump non-access. This is the bit that people cut away to get access to the tank, and that's not recommended because you just don't need to. Got some wiring going down there for a grommet there, and we've got another grommet there. I must clean that water up, and a lot of that wiring is for the backlights. In fact, all that wiring is for the backlights. It goes to that one, then it goes across. That one, I don't know what that was for actually. I think one of them's for the ABS sensors, because we've got ABS sensors on these. But it's amazing, this is. I've never seen a Mark 1 in such good condition. the capacity is so generous, and I can see this being quite a good bed if I'm trapping at some point. But I can't believe this. Some of you would have already been gasping at this. That's just ridiculous. There is no hint of corrosion whatsoever in either corner. No, not one bit. Some people get lucky, it will just rot to around here, okay? And unfortunately with others, it will just rot around the seat belt anchorage point. So these 3 points here, these are for the seat belt anchorage bolts, okay? There's 3 of them, and you'll see them when you take the arch liner off. And unfortunately, if they rot beyond that point, that really does increase the cost, because someone's got to tap new bolt holes in and cut them. Drill them and tap them. That really adds time. It really does, and it's got to be done properly, and you've got to sort your measurements out by using the anchorage point as like a guide. So it does add the cost. It's not ridiculous, but a lot of people have had to have it done. But I can't. There's just nothing. It will, and I'll tell you what, it will creep down. The rust usually starts underneath. There might have been a sign here. No, but there's usually, the rot usually creeps in under this seam sealer, and it goes really badly. What you'll see, the start of it will be lots of pink rusty spots. I'm surprised I haven't even seen any of that. There's just nothing. Oh no, I found one. Can you just see that there, right in the middle of the screen? Yeah, I found a rusty spot. Now I know what's on the other side of these arch liners, and it's surface rust, and it's treatable. I've never seen a Mark 1 with so little rust at this age. It's almost like this was garage, but it can't have been exposed to much salt, put it that way. So yeah, there you go. Usually it would also creep along the seam sealer. It started to do that on 50 Shades, but I got there just in time. So overall, all good, but just sit on this. It will take my weight, I think. Just about. I'm not a heavy person, but yeah, this is one heck of an interior. Tons of space in here. Now we have got. I've cleaned all this as well. This carpet. We've cleaned all the remnants of screen wash that ended up down this bit. That's a nice little coffee space, that is. I don't know what I could use that for, but I've got some ideas. That's your earth point for the rear lights. Okay, that's your earth point. Okay, just saying. We've got the 2 different connectors. We've got one going to that light and the other going this way to this light here. And under here, wow! I've had this first aid box for absolutely years and years when I did first aid courses. And then I've got this lovely little fire extinguisher strapped up. And this is the first aid box, by the way. There's a first aid symbol there. And I thought, yeah, I could put both of them together in there. That is amazing. Obviously, they drilled this used to be where the wiring was for the tow bar, and they drilled a damn hole in there. Yeah, right. You can go away. I'll just close that. Lovely. It's just a door with a bit of foam on it. This foam's everywhere on Mark 1. So yeah, a couple of scratches here and there, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's a station wagon. It's going to be a bit of a workhorse, but at the moment I need to sort that water out. That's just been dripping and collecting overnight, but hopefully I haven't got a water leak. There's no evidence of that anyway. There's been a lot of water coming in here, so I am going to probably let it dry. In fact, I think yeah, there's a bit too much there. I won't pull that too far. I didn't want to remove the carpet completely. I don't think I need to. No. That's all good. Yeah, we just gotta let it dry out overnight, I think. Some of this underlay is just recycled material. Typically what they use, but the amount of rubbish I managed to get out of this carpet is absolutely untrue. I don't think there's anything else that I've missed. Obviously, if I've missed anything, I'll go over that. But overall, all good. One note, I'll tell you something. I didn't smack on this before, actually. Now, when I did the review of this car, when it was in Jason's ownership, immediately I thought that this was a CD changer with a CD changer under the seat. I've got a feeling, well, that's wrong, obviously, but I've got a feeling that that was a pre-facelift thing, and I didn't realise it had actually they for the facelift, they got rid of that feature, and they actually built it in to this 6006E. How does this hold 6 CDs? What? I couldn't believe it. How they'd actually... So they've actually gone from that to that. That's definitely a step forward and a bit more simpler, but... Well, apparently it works perfectly fine. It is the original radio. I always fancy one of those Becker Traffic Pros, because that will come with its own little aerial that goes on the screen. I've only seen one fitted to any Mark 1, and it will have that fascia because it's a single DIN. I always fancy one of them, but the problem is they operate on CD-ROMs to download software onto them, or to burn software. You need the CD, obviously, with the software, and I think the last ones came out in 2009, and we know how the roads have changed since then quite a bit, so you get a lot of fines by going down one-way roads. Oh no, it's fine, it's all right, you know, it was just a field. Anyway, I'll leave you be, and for me and Mr. Ink, I'll be putting this interior back in piece by piece. But anyway, you take care, guys. I shall see you very soon. Thought the end of this video was there? No, not quite, not quite. 2 days later, the whole interior is back in. I say 2 days later, it was more like 4 actually, to be fair, with a humongous amounts of cleaning, as you've just seen in the pictures you've just seen with the Vax Spot Wash Cleaner, which is a great tool, I have to say. The only weak point is the hose. I've had to gaffer tape the hose more times than anything because it's really not good quality. The actual machine is brilliant. Just make sure you don't run out of water, because then your pump will blow up. But they're very good machines, and they have cleaned those seats down to an absolute T. In fact, it looks like the seats have got some colour in them, which makes you think, well, I didn't think the seats were that bad in the first place. The carpet was dirty, as you can imagine, but the seats were terrible. I had to go over the driver and passenger seats 3 times, and it was just about starting to change from a dark brown to a mild brown. It doesn't take a lot for water to get dirty. It only takes a little bit of dirt. So if it looks even marginally brown, then it's a very clean seat. And you can tell because the colour of these seats has come back. And it makes you think, how many Mark 1 gear owners with those Bussac seats are sitting on seats that they think is relatively clean, but actually they're quite frankly disgusting, and they need to be probably removed. Doing it in situ is okay, but really you got to do a removal job to do things properly and clean the underside and find a few spiders under the seat, but it's all good work. But anyway, it's all back in the car. I've attached a couple of nice oddities that I'll show you in a second, but we've got to put the final piece of the jigsaw in, and I've had this part on my shelf for about a year because I bought it for 10 quid on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody bought this and didn't use it for their car, and these are becoming more expensive now. I think Ford have identified that quite a few people are buying them, and the price keeps creeping up. It was £20 a couple of years ago, now it's 25, now it's £30 at the moment, and it is these. It is a set of carpet mats. Now these are the one. These are not genuine. By the way, they are genuine Ford, but they're not genuine from the time. Now the genuine carpets that came with this car are the black gear ones. They are very nice. They're a bit worn, but I'm keeping them off the vehicle because I've had this set for ages. I've got the clips with it as well, but I don't need them because we've already got clips in the floor. But these are as I say, they are genuine, but they're not aftermarket. They're a sort of afterthought from Ford, a sort of accessory that is offered by mainly Parts Plus. The warehouse at Warrington is the one that's got all these as far as the UK is concerned. This is the parts number for right-hand drive vehicles, 1138951. I don't know what it would be for left-hand drive, but these are made from a recycled material. But actually, they're very, very high quality, and you will see these in a lot of Mark 1s now. I don't think you saw many of these a few years ago, but now people are starting to buy them up in their drones. And to be honest, I am actually going to order a couple of sets just for my own self, nothing else, because when these are gone, they're gone. So look after these. They will wear down because of this material, but it's the same sort of material, actually, they made the original carpets from. You got the Ford emblem with the much more thicker heel pad, which I like actually, because that's going to be the place of high wear. Anyway, let's chuck these lovely things in and complete what has been, well, put it this way, I now feel that the car is mine and I've put my stamp on the car, as you'll see. I'll leave them down there for a second. Oh, the smell in here is amazing. It's a smell of chemicals. And by the way, people were asking me what I was using. I've been a fan of Diamond Bright upholstery cleaner. It's a foam cleaner, but it's very expensive. 500 millilitres will get you, wow, it costs you about £8-9 a can. And I was thinking, well, I used to go and order a load of Diamond Bright stuff years ago, interior stuff and all sorts of exterior stuff, and some of their products are really good, but they're pricey, and I don't consider them to be any better than Auto Glim products that I've been using beforehand. So I've now switched back to Auto Glim, but there's a few products that actually even Auto Glim doesn't do particularly. Auto Grim, I got that right probably. The carpet cleaner that I've used for this with the spot wash is Vax 1000. It's 1001 or something like that. 1001. It's a fantastic household carpet and upholstery cleaner, and I really recommend that you give it a go. I really do, because I can see it now. There's way more colour in these seats than there were before. You may not spot this on the camera, but this is definitely a more brown Bussac material. And these sides, these are called the Kent side facings. These are very much a sort of grey blue colour almost. You can clearly see the difference. You couldn't beforehand. So if you have a Mark 1 that looks like you've got basically a grey black seat, it shouldn't be grey. This, to me, is more of a grey blue in visual, and this is more of a sort of brown colour. So if your seats don't look like that, they need cleaning. The carpets have all come up so nicely. I've painted all down here where they go a bit rusty around the rails and cleaned all on the rails. It's amazing. It's all come together so nicely. I've moisturised the steering wheel. And gone over the entire centre console. We have the addition of one of these. I'm going to have to show you this because I had this specially made. I do this with all my cars. Yeah, we have a reproduction tax disc. 30th of September 2005. WV54 MYP Ford, 12 months, £190. That's correct, because I think the excise duty had been frozen by Gordon Brown for a couple of years. It was at 190 at this tax band, and the Bristol stamp 30th September 04, that would have been perfectly correct for this vehicle, and I'm so pleased I managed to obtain that. So I've managed to sort that out, but as far as everything else is concerned, I have added at the back one of these. I haven't got any Preservation Club stickers at the moment, but I've sorted the boot out as well. Just come in here. So I've disconnected the battery for a start. It's all very, very organised in here. And just pull this back. Everything's been cleaned to a T. We've got everything sort of set up in here. There's tons of room for dead batteries. No. But this cargo net, I didn't realise this. I've discovered a couple of things. Number one, this cargo net, which is unique to the versatility pack on the Estates, it was missing when Jason bought it, and Jason painstakingly searched a long time to find this net. And I believe that this is completely different to any other cargo net fitted to a Mark 1. It's not the standard cargo net. There's too much gap on the sides as far as I can see. So this net is completely unique to a versatility pack, and Jason found one because there was a date stamp from 2002, so it was up from a breaker. Well done, Jason. That is a massive feature that I love, and I love having it up because it makes it feel like there's a division between two parts of the car. Apart from that, fantastic. So well done, Jason. Looks amazing without that tow bar, and I love the way it shuts. A good old sort of coachy, bussy clump. Hello. At the back here, I mean, you can see what I've been doing. I mean, as I say, it's made a huge difference. That armrest was disgusting. I was getting brown rubbish off that all the time. Jason, what you been putting on your elbows? I'm only joking. No, that is, this is clean. It feels clean, and it feels a million times nicer than what it was before. And quite frankly, it's fantastic. What I didn't realise is the amount of map pockets. We've got one map pocket there. We've got map pockets on the front of the front seats. I discovered all sorts of things that I didn't even realise. But it's all looking good, and it's all gone back in, and it's just all so clean under there, as you've seen. Fantastic. Well, that's it. Now I'm going to leave you now. The only thing I haven't done is I've been polishing some of the windows on the inside, but what I've got to do is I've got to sort these door cards out, because what I'm going to have to do is just make sure that there's some minor corrosion coming in, just minor. I don't want that to cause too much of an issue. It looks like it's already started, so I might have to treat that. But to prevent it, you've got to wash these doors out. So all the door cards, all four, are going to come off. We're going to clean inside, hose out, dry down. I've done this before on 50 Shades. I've done it on Beatrix, I've done it on Ruby. You've got to do it, because the dirt is what causes that. See where it's starting to go a little bit? That's the worst door on the car, but it's actually not bubbling at all. No, they're all straight. So door cards off for a good old refurb. Definitely. So I haven't touched them, all the windows, but everything else has been cleaned to a T. Anyway, let's get this in. That lovely. These fit so nicely. Oh my gosh, that looks so nice. I don't want to get in here no more. That is a big problem. Yeah, that looks very suited to the car. Oops. Now, we've got the clips. They should come with the kit. Yeah. Supplier code, production date 2011. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's a long time ago since these were made. New old stock, guys, you know, get them while you can. 30 quid. I will definitely be getting a backup set. A couple of backup sets. There we go. Yes. Yeah. It's nice to know that. Right. Lovely. Did they put it in the right place? Yeah, I'd say they were a bit generous with that. Got a feeling. Oh, will these work with this? No, I don't think so. I think they're a bit too thick. Might have to get these out. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, you just got to twist it into position. You just have to push down on it. But there you go. It's a little bit further backwards than what I would have presumed, but still. And many of you, some of you are missing these. That's just the VIN plastic. That's the VIN number down there, and that's the plastic shield that covers it. Some people are missing that. Oh my gosh, That looks amazing. I think I'll leave that there. If this is a workhorse, it's a very clean one, and it will be. Take care, guys.